If you're trying to scale your business from one to many, meaning that you want to go from working with just one person to maybe working in a group setting, or be able to take your business from one location to multiple locations, this video is for you. We're going to talk about some of the common mistakes that I see people make over and over again when they're trying to scale their business. Hi, my name is Andrea Reindl. I'm a brand strategist and the founder of Legacy Creative. Over the last many years, my team and I have helped lots of entrepreneurs brand their business in such a way that they can grow from serving the number of clients they're serving when they meet us to serving many more clients with the same amount of energy. Today, we're going to talk about some of the mistakes we've seen people make over and over again and how you can avoid them. All right, let me ask you a question. How would your business and your life be different if 1 year from now you could serve more clients with the same amount of energy and still have happy, raving customers? One of the common mistakes we see people make on a regular basis when they're trying to move up and scale up is that they start copying someone else. They start trying to be like someone they're not. They have someone that they really admire or someone that they look up to. Maybe it's like an author or a YouTuber or another business. And instead of being their version of awesome, they try to be the other person and just copy. One of my favorite stories about this was recently I was reading a book and Joel Osteen was talking to Oprah about this, and he mentioned that when his dad passed away and he took over pastoring his church, he tried to be his dad when he was delivering the sermons for a while. And finally he realized that if he really wanted to grow the church and he really wanted to grow, he was just gonna have to show up as himself, not as his dad. So I highly encourage you, if you're ready to scale up, you need to start thinking, how can you be more of you? And don't worry about copying anybody else. Another common mistake people make is forgetting to share your story and your why. People do business with people they like. We want to bond to brands. We want to find a place where we are like, hey, I like that person and I want to do business with them. One of the ways to get people to like you is to share your story and your why. And when I say share it, I mean share it everywhere. Share it on your website, share it on your social media, share it on your profiles. If you're a restaurant, share it in your menu. One of my favorite places that did this is a winery in British Columbia called Ex Nihilo. And when you get there and they're giving you a wine tour of their wines, they also tell you the story of how the winery came to be and the couple who founded it and what happened when they decided to found a winery. I remember them the most and I buy their wine as gifts because I love the story. So make sure that you're sharing your story on a regular basis and don't be afraid to share it. I love this Brene Brown quote on this topic. The most powerful way to connect with others is to share your own story. Another mistake I see people make on a regular basis is they are not safe with their messaging, which means that inadvertently their messaging ends up being like blaming the customer or talking about the customer in a way that the customer is doing something bad. One of the companies I think completely screwed this up recently was Netflix. The way Netflix came up and said, hey, no more sharing passwords, and then everything became very like, you're not allowed to share passwords and we're not gonna be okay with this. Felt very much like Netflix was blaming their customers for sharing their passwords. On the other hand, Disney Plus put out media that said, hey, will you please share your password with everybody because we want people to go to bed thinking about Disney. We want people to wake up thinking about Disney. Disney actually encouraged their users to share their password while Netflix blamed their users for sharing their passwords. So think about this in a manner of how can you be safe and inclusive and make your customers feel welcome on a regular basis. And again, I mean this everywhere, on your website, when they walk through your door, when they call your phone line. Where are some places you can create safety for your customers so that they want to work with you? Here's another big one, a mistake we see people make all the time when they're ready to scale their business. And that is they try to do everything themselves. Look, there's a time to do everything yourself in a business. When you're early in a business, it makes sense to go get your logo on Fiverr, to do some graphics on your own, to maybe buy some templates and work it out, maybe to edit your own videos. I totally get it. There's a time to do that in your business. However, when you're ready to take your business from where it is now and scale it up in that one to many, or start being able to serve clients where you're not just working one-on-one, but you're working with a lot of them, you really need to start thinking about who are the experts you need on your team to do certain tasks and activities for you. So this might include copywriters, graphic designers, photographers, web developers, brand strategists, people who know how to do their job really, really well and can see your business from a different perspective and then start to pull out what's the best parts of your business to help you grow. And when it's time to scale up, start thinking about how can you invest in the right people to help you take your brand to where you want it to be. Okay, here's another big mistake I see people make on a regular basis. They ignore the little inconsistent things, the little inconsistent interactions in their business because they find it overwhelming. So, for example, like say an email goes out that has the wrong subject line on it or has the wrong from line on it, but the business owner is tired, so they just ignore it and they don't solve it. Instead, what you can do is start to notice all those little inconsistencies. Every business has them. So what you do is notice them, log them, and then fix them one at a time. Because when you're ready to scale up, the inconsistencies start to become a problem. When you're a small business, the inconsistencies don't matter so much, but once you have more clients, the inconsistencies actually can cost you a whole lot. Well, how do you solve it? You start logging them, and one by one, fix them. All right, here's another big mistake I see people make, and that is what I call the setting it and forgetting it. So there's a lot of parts of your business that do need processes. They do need to be planned in advance, and maybe things like your social media, you need a general plan for in advance. But the art of this whole idea that there's some people giving advice on the internet of like, hey, set it up and then forget it, and then don't look back at your customer experience. It doesn't work very well, and it's a mistake because what might have worked 6 months ago doesn't work now. It's not relevant anymore. So instead of set it and forget it, what you want to do is design it, build it, and then check in on it every once in a while. Go back and say, hey, does this still make sense? Hey, is this still in alignment with our brand message? Is this still the best kind of client we want to work with? Are we still communicating in the best way possible? The set it and forget it mentality eventually ends up that you just look out of date as a business owner, and you look disconnected as a business owner. Instead, you want to set a vision and then you want to check in on it regularly. Hey, I know this part can be overwhelming because there's so many like whack-a-mole details to deal with in your business. One quick hack to make sure that you're not just setting and forgetting is put some sort of reminder in your calendar or send yourself an automated email 3, 6, 9 months down the road so that you don't actually forget it, but it pops back up in your world and you're like, oh yeah, right, I gotta deal with that thing, or I wanna look at it and make sure it's still relevant for my business. Another mistake I see people make is not knowing who is their best fit client. We have other videos on picking your best fit client, but here's why it's important and a mistake not to pay attention to that. You may remember a few years ago when McDonald's put salads on their menu, and then recently McDonald's took salads off their menu. You know why? Because salads don't sell at McDonald's. People are not at McDonald's to buy a salad. They're at McDonald's to buy like a burger and fries and let their kids play in the play place. So you want to think about McDonald's went, we're going to take the salads off our menu because it doesn't make any sense. Knowing who your right fit client is means that you can scale up because you'll have more of just those clients in your business, and you won't be busy serving people that don't really belong in your business in the first place. So these are a few of the mistakes we see people make on a regular basis. In the comments below, I'd love to hear what your mistakes that you see people make on a regular basis are, because I know this is just a collection and a handful of mistakes, and there's plenty more you could make in a business. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.